lead minister, as I said, at Linden Hills, UCC, is a media trainer for Auburn Seminary, and works as an executive coach for Convergence. Reverend Richardson also sits on various boards and has active partnerships with the Evangelical Church of Germany, where he collaborates on digital ministry projects. Thank you, Lawrence, for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation, and thank you all for your time and attention this evening. I would like to begin by sharing a land acknowledgement. For thousands of years, the Dakota people have resided in the place that we now call Minnesota. Tribal nations negotiated government to government, preserving their sovereign land rights and privileges through treaties. When land wasn't ceded through good faith efforts, however, it was often stolen from our indigenous relatives. Both the state of Minnesota and the United States government carried out genocide, ethnic cleansing, and forced removal against the Dakota as a way to acquire land. This, along with the transatlantic slave trade, set the tone for how Black and brown people have been regarded in the United States, and most specifically in Minnesota. On June 15th, 1920, 3 Black people who were circus workers, Elias Clayton, Elmer Jackson, and Isaac McGee, suspects in an assault case, were taken from jail and lynched by a white mob of thousands of terrorists in Minnesota, in Duluth, Minnesota, to be exact. Rumors had circulated that 6 African-American men had raped and robbed a 19-year-old white girl, but the suspicion stopped when the physician who examined her found no physical evidence of rape. The mob did not stop, however. They were not deterred. In 1920, these lynchings were the only known instance of lynchings of Black people in Minnesota. 20 other lynchings were recorded in Minnesota's history and included mainly Native Americans and few whites. 3 men were convicted of rioting, but none served more than 15 months in relation to the Duluth lynchings. The state of Minnesota in 1921, however, did pass an anti-lynching legislation bill. And no lynchings have been recorded in Minnesota's history since. But here we are today. Nearly 1 year ago, on May 25th, 2020, George Perry Floyd was lynched by Derek Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer who arrested George Floyd because of an alleged counterfeit $20 bill. And as everyone in the world saw, because of the infamous video taken by Darnella Frazier, the world saw George Floyd take his last breath. And on April 20th of this year, we saw a guilty conviction for the man who killed George Floyd. Now we see through prayer, protest, planning, and relentless work that justice can be served. Because what we saw on that video made all of us, those who have maternal instincts, connections, biological children, or spiritual children, we said no more. We said something has to change. And we have been able to speak truth to power over the last almost year. And we have been the change that we hope to see. And now we stand here and we make a commitment to all of the George Floyds and Dante Wrights of the world. The 3 men who were lynched in Duluth and the countless Native American people who were killed in this state. We say to all of them, no more. That justice is served through convictions as well as reparations. that reparations includes repentance. We need to turn away from the sin that is racism. We need healing and we need repair. Racism is as much of a white people problem as it is for people of color. You see, when we have times like this where we gather for healing, it isn't because the work is done. We are gathering this day for healing because the work must continue so that there is no more lynching, there are no more George Floyds, there are no more Dante Wrights, there are no more broken treaties. There is healing, there is peace for all of God's people. Thank you.